that it's Friday, and let me just tell you, yesterday was a day. Yesterday was a day with the passing in the Congress of the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which we all are now knowing is a big scam. One of the biggest things that I would love to discuss with you guys today, if you're watching on a replay, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you hadn't had a chance, hit the like button, hit the bell notification, all the things. The big thing today and last night, for a matter of fact, is Trump deciding that his administration is going to stop allowing Harvard to enroll international students. Now, this is not something that we didn't see coming. It is something that I don't think the students could have ever prepared for, though. So let's say you're a student at Harvard. Hold on a second. I did not change my focus here. Let's say you're a student at Harvard and you are just waking up to the news that, oh, by the way, the Trump administration would like you to transfer to another school. Excuse me? Excuse me? What did you say? Transfer to another school or be deported. If I'm a student at Harvard and I am in the middle of, let's say, a PhD program, I don't just transfer to another school. That's not how university systems work. In the middle of a program, you don't just get to say, oh, I was going to Harvard. I guess I'll go to Yale, right? I guess I'll go to Yale. Oh no, hold on. I think I'll go to Stanford, right? So when you think about programs like PhD programs, where only a certain amount of students can actually get into those programs because there's only a certain number of professors who can be their mentors for their programs, and there's only a certain amount of time that they have been afforded to complete those programs. That's not how it works, okay? And the subject matter experts that might be at Harvard might not be at other institutions. Yes, the requirements to get into Harvard are top tier, but what if those other schools have their quotas for the number of students within their programs? So the onus being on the students to just upend their lives and I don't know, go to another school. It's just that easy. I don't think these people have ever gone to to college or a university in their life that they would want to put so much pressure and stress on students for just attending Harvard. And because Harvard doesn't capitulate fast enough for the Trump administration, now all those students' lives are now upended. I just think that that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Vivian, how are you this morning? It is one of those moments where I thought, wow, they really think that all of these students, undergraduates and graduate students, just are able to snap a finger, get enrolled at a different university, maybe even transfer. Like, what about the students who've paid their tuition to Harvard? Does Harvard get to like refund that money and then they can take that money and apply it to some other program's tuition? Like, these people, I'm so baffled as to how they think that this is going to happen overnight. People who attend Harvard, obviously they have the grades, the whatever, the requirements to get into Harvard, right? But maybe they didn't get into those other schools, okay? Maybe those other programs that they had applied to did not actually accept them, okay? So this is one of those moments where I do believe that all of the sort of back end deals that they thought they were going to have with higher education. Hi, Jason, how are you? That those didn't happen. And if they were going to happen, they ain't going to happen anymore because this morning, the headline is that Harvard has sued Trump. Harvard has sued Trump's administration, and it is clear as day that this is retaliation. And I know I screenshotted. I screenshotted so many headlines this morning, you guys. So I don't know if we will get to them. But this is the headline right here. It says the university filed suit in federal court in response to the government revoking the students' ability to enroll international students. Now, when you think about this sort of back and forth, the tit for tat, the thing that they think that they're winning here, um, I don't think that they have thought this through. Okay, because if they're suing in federal court, then that means that eventually this is probably going to go to the Supreme Court and then there will be some sort of precedent. Okay, so I don't think that the Trump administration is thinking this the whole way through, that, they're starting with Harvard and they actually started with Columbia and then they went to Harvard. But I think that by doing this sort of systematic takedown that they think that they're going to get away with, they're actually going to put themselves into a position where the Supreme Court is going to throw down the hammer, and then whatever golden plan that they had going is going to be stopped in its tracks. Now, just because they say you can't enroll students, does that mean that while they're in the middle of being sued, that Harvard isn't going to enroll students? Harvard probably is going to enroll students. Just because they say so doesn't make it so, okay? Jason says, I feel bad for the ones who didn't participate in the anti-Semitism, but most foreign students were part of the okay, Jason, I can't in good conscience believe that all foreign students who go to Harvard were part of an anti-Semitic sort of campaign, protest, whatever. There are a lot of students who go to Harvard, and there's a lot of students who probably even attend Harvard online. So there are people who probably are foreign students who maybe have, I don't know, been remote students for a little bit. There are extension programs at Harvard who have foreign students, who are in like executive business programs who have foreign students. So I can't imagine that there are people who would think that the entire population of foreign students, international students, were all participating. Okay. This is in retaliation to Harvard apparently not turning over the sort of academic or disciplinary records that they requested of all of their students, all their international students, I believe. I think I screenshotted a little bit more of this. Okay, maybe not this part. This is the complaint. Okay, here. The complaint by the nation's oldest, this is the Harvard side. The nation's oldest and wealthiest institution of higher education argues that the decision Thursday to drop the school from the Department of Homeland Security's Student and Exchange Visitor Program violates, and I can't see this last word, violates the probably independent nature of the school. Okay, it says in its latest act by the government, this is clear retaliation for Harvard exercising its First Amendment rights to reject the government's demand to control Harvard's governance, curriculum, and the ideology of its faculty and students. Okay, so they wanted to get into Harvard's sort of, they wanted to have this sort of supervisory sort of role and go through all of the curriculum to determine whether or not the curriculum was sharing a sort of ideology that was woke or that had DEI in it and all this other stuff. And that is independent of the government, okay? So at first, I don't know if you remember, they threatened to revoke their sort of status with the IRS, and now they're basically saying, no, you can't have international students. I think the reported rate was like 30% or 23%, something like this, of their sort of enrolled population is comprised of international students. So a good number, like 70% of their students are not international. But what somebody said on TikTok, I saw this yesterday, they said, whether or not the students participated in anything, okay, the vast number of international students that give Harvard money come from a lot of money, okay? And even if the students' parents are not in the United States, they are probably very powerful people in other parts of the world. And so by taking this sort of stance against all international students, you have now ticked off not just people who are potential participants in sort of anti-Semitic behavior, but people who did not participate and their parents sort of influence within certain business circles that President Trump probably has dealings in. So this is not just a jab at Harvard. This is a jab at a lot of foreign students, parents, and institutions in business around the world. So I think he's poking the bear here. And I don't know if the bear is going to like it that much, because when we all woke up this morning, Harvard chose violence. Harvard chose to go to court. And I think that this is going to be a losing situation for Donald Trump. If you're just joining me, feel free to join the comments, subscribe to my channel, and also visit my community tab. Like I say, every single time I come on here, we have at least one poll in the community tab every single day. And I love to know your opinions. So take the poll. There's at least, today is like the 23rd. There's at least like 23 polls in there for you to take. And they're all very much centered on technology, lifestyle, policy, all of those things. So basically that's it. I understand there's a lot of people who don't have my same opinion. So thank you so much for putting your opinion in the comments. Keep it civil. That's all I ask. Let's go on to another story that I thought was very interesting. So this is from the Diddy trial. This is from Yahoo. It's on a blast sort of part of the publication. It says, Diddy's strange favorite sauce to put on cheeseburgers irks jurors during the rapper's explosive trial. Now, before I tell you what it is, because if you haven't read this article, I want you to guess what is the sauce that has irked jurors, and I want you to put it in the comments. Tell me what you believe is the sauce that he puts on his cheeseburgers, because I think you're not going to get it, because I was like, what the hell could he put on his cheeseburger? A lot of people put like, what is it called? When you put ketchup and mayonnaise together, it's like Thousand Island. So a lot of people do that. What is another one? Barbecue sauce. Some people put barbecue sauce on their cheeseburgers. What's another one? Sometimes people put that like aioli. I'm curious what you think. Tell me in the comments. I know Jason's still here, Vivian's still here. Yes, tell me what you think. What was another one? Some people put like a nacho cheese kind of a sauce if you're trying to do like a different kind of cheese on your cheeseburger. Okay, I will tell you. Let me get to that part of it. So this is kind of what they were talking about in the strange love of applesauce on cheeseburgers and other food. Did you think that was going to be the one that he was going to love? I mean, I know that a lot of what the defense tries to do in different trials is make the person who's on trial look very relatable to the jury. This is something that I don't relate to, and a lot of the charges clearly I am not relating to. So I think this puts him further away from being relatable to the juries, the jury pool that's sitting there, like all the jurors that are sitting on his trial. I just think applesauce. I mean, there are a lot of people who have like food on their plate and they just kind of combine all the food, and then it's just like a mishmash of stuff, sort of hodgepodge, bleh, and just take a bite of everything. Like when you think of Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving, you kind of have like the turkey, the gravy, the mashed potatoes, the stuffing, all the stuff, right? And you can just kind of take one bite of like all of it and it's fine. I think that is one of the things that when you are how do you say, just not caring about all the tastes that go into it, maybe there's a way for this to suddenly taste good. Like maybe there's like a sweet to go with this sort of burger taste. I don't really know how that really plays out. I don't know. But that was not on my bingo card for today. All right, let's go into this. This is very interesting. Kanye West claims he's done with anti-Semitism after a FaceTime call with his kids. Quote, "Forgive me for the pain that I've caused." The secondary headline, the rapper has repeatedly come under fire for his anti-Semitic behavior, including calling Adolf Hitler fresh and selling swastika-covered shirts. I don't know that, oh God, Adam, I thought it was baby oil. You mean on his hamburger? Oh God, that would taste terrible. Okay, so I'm not sure about this because, maybe he had a sort of come to Jesus meeting, as my mom would say, with his children, being, I don't know. Sometimes when people tell you things, they need it to come from certain people in order for it to actually click, right? Maybe this did click for Kanye West if his kids did have a talk with him. Ms. Simmons says, if one has been to a Diddy party more than once, continue to pray. It was, I don't know if it was consensual if you're being drugged. So, all of the allegations are alleged by people that I don't know. So, but I'm curious as this is coming up now. Okay, I think this is part of Entertainment Weekly, but the fact that it's coming up while the Diddy trial is happening, and after so much controversy that he has had with like the sort of naked thing that happened with his, and I don't even know if he's married, but with the Sansari girl, a lot of this it feels like I need a headline. Okay, I need a headline. Now, if it's sincere, great. But I don't know how many people are going to forgive his behavior. And I don't even know if he even cares, right? Maybe he is sorry to them for whatever, he has, caused them to experience because of his behavior. I'm not sure. Okay, so tell me in the comments what your thoughts about this are. It says he was on X, the platform. I am done with anti-Semitism. He began in a series, I love all people. God forgive me for the pain I've caused. I forgive those who have caused me pain. Thank you, God. Now, I don't know. I don't know. And maybe it's not my place to know, but who is he speaking to? Who is he doing all of this for, right? Is it so that he ends up in good favor with some people? Is it because he wants to publicly share what he's going through? Is it because he wants people to maybe stop, attacking people that he loves because of his behavior? Maybe that's it. Maybe he just wants favorable press, or maybe he did change, and had a sort of change of heart about what he's been doing. A lot of people say, give people a chance to learn from their mistakes. Now, he made a lot of people very, very upset with his behavior. And he doubled down and tripled down and quadrupled down on a lot of that with his actions, not just his words, but his actions. And a lot of people don't like the treatment that he has sort of had with his supposed wife, and I don't know. It feels very sort of like the timing with the Diddy trial happening and then this, I don't know. I speculate on this one. I speculate. Here we go. Beef prices reach record highs as cattle industry struggles with costs. Now, this was posted today at 6:43 a.m. Pacific time. What are your beef prices in your area? I actually posted something on TikTok yesterday about gas prices. The sort of regular unleaded is like $4.99. And I've been talking about how President Trump was saying, oh, gas is $1.98. And he doesn't really specify where gas is $1.98. But somebody in my comments yesterday on TikTok found gas for $1.99 in Florida at some car wash, that if you buy a car wash, you can get gas for $1.99 per gallon, but there's a maximum of how many gallons of gas you can actually get. So somebody did find the $1.99 gas, but you have to pay for whatever the car wash price. And let's say in California, I think the cheapest car wash, if you're getting a car wash, not if you're doing your car wash, but if you're paying for a car wash, I think the cheapest is between like $15 or like $19.99 to get your car wash through one of those like automated parts, and then they dry it off for you and spray it down. So if you're paying $20 to get the car wash, so you can get the $1.99 gas, but you can only get so many gallons, is the gas really $1.99 per gallon? No, because you had to buy something in order to get the $1.99 per gallon. So there's that. So this is a whole other industry that, a lot of times people have been talking about, well, the agricultural industry is going to have to get bailed out because of all the tariffs and all the everything that's happening. The beef industry is part of that. So record high cattle industry struggles with costs. I'm just saying, if every industry is struggling with costs, all of a sudden, I don't know. It just seems like maybe his policies, Donald Trump's policies, are not exactly helping out all of these farmers. It says the average cost of 1 pound of ground beef reached a record high of $5.80 in April. It's up nearly 50% from 5 years ago. So the average cost 5 years ago was in the like $250, $260 range, right? $275 maybe, right? Why is that? Yeah, we should all be asking ourselves, what the heck is happening with the beef prices? I have no idea. This is something that we have to think about here too. Because every single day, Donald Trump, I think, is sort of doing another market manipulation. Let's go back here. I want to show you what was said. Donald Trump on Friday said he was recommending a straight 50% tariff on goods from the European Union starting June 1st, saying the EU has been hard to deal with on trade. Really? Oh, yeah, of course. It's because you can't get a deal, okay? You can't get a deal. I think that there's a lot of people who maybe thought that Donald Trump was a great deal maker, okay? A great deal maker. And that he was able to, intimidate these sort of countries into capitulation, into doing exactly what he wanted them to do. Except what he hasn't actually guaranteed, whether or not he gets them to sort of bring down their tariffs, he hasn't brought what he said he was going to do, bring manufacturing back to the United States. So a lot of times when we think about, oh, he's going to get them on tariffs, but he hasn't done the other part that he said he was going to do, which is make America great again by bringing manufacturing back. And the reason it's not coming back is because other countries have set up the infrastructure to make it great in that country. And even if we had it here in this country, we set it up and we had it running and it was great, the cost that people would pay to have us make it here is going to be way more than the cost of people making it in other countries, whether it's Vietnam or China or India, right? All of these other countries have the infrastructure and they have the price points. So no matter if we have it here in the United States and they have it there in some other foreign country, they're going to make it cheaper. And all of the people who need manufacturing done are going to go, well, you got it here in the United States. Good for you. And in these other countries, they're going to say, we still have the best price point and we still have great infrastructure. So it doesn't really matter if we try to do it here, because no one's going to get it from here because they're going to get it for cheaper in another country. So there's that. Speaking of, there was a lot of hoopla, right? Made about Apple, and now he finally said it. Trump warns Apple of 25% tariffs if iPhones are not made in the US. So if you want your iPhone, you're probably gonna pay about $5,000 for it if they start making it in the United States. It says shares of the iPhone maker fell nearly 3% on the news in pre-market trading. Quote, I have long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones that will be sold in the United States of America will be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or any other place. Yeah, he warned him, right? So, I don't think that's happening. I don't think Tim Cook is going to, at the drop of a hat, be like, oh, he warned me. Okay, let me bring all of Apple's iPhone manufacturing to the United States where we can make them for way too much and we can bring our prices so far up that no one's gonna buy them. Like, I don't, how people think that Donald Trump's such a great businessman? This is a bad business move for Apple if they try to bring their manufacturing from India to the United States. Vivian says, buy a Samsung, it's much better. You know what? I haven't had an Android phone just because I like the way that my Apple products kind of move it together. I don't think that that's going to happen though. Not on my end. I don't think I'm going to buy an Android, but a lot of people really love other phones and they think that they do, well for them. Chronic Repulse says it's a process, so you think it's better to procrastinate. That's why our generation is so broke or is broke. Okay, so I think you're talking about this manufacturing process. No, I'm not saying it's better to procrastinate bringing manufacturing back here. I'm saying if they're gonna do it like he's asking them to, it's going to cost way more to produce. And those companies are going to then put all of that onto the consumer. And so if you want your iPhone to be made in the United States, great. If they bring the infrastructure here and they make them here, your iPhone is going to be, it's already like $1,200, $1,400, $1,600. It's going to be $5,000 because the cost to produce it here is going to be put onto the consumer. And a lot of the parts that maybe are sort of trademarked and patented, those parts are going to be made here with resources probably from somewhere else. And those resources are going to have to be imported from somewhere else. So I hear that manufacturing can come back here. Fantastic, make it happen. But there is another level to that idea of manufacturing coming back to the United States that I don't think that they're trying to promote as sort of the downside, okay? So he can say, all jobs should be in America, all manufacturing should be in America, all people should buy American. Is he buying everything American? Is he producing his hats in America? I don't know. A lot of people say a lot of his stuff still says made in China. So why does everybody else have to do that he doesn't have to do that? Okay, so you have to think about do as I say, not as I do, as one of his sort of mottos. And then also, is that even possible for Apple to say, no, we're not going to manufacture in China or in India? I don't think so. But he warned him. He warned him. So there's that. Anyways, I hope that helps kind of break down some of the headlines. We'll see where it goes. Chronic Repulse says, no, it's not going to eat into their profit margin. The consumer may pay slightly more, but the USA has a consumption problem. Our children would rather have a Gucci belt than support their family. I mean, every family is different. So when you think about family values, my kids don't have Gucci belts. So I don't think that that's on their minds as much as, doing fun things at school. So I hope that this helps with headlines. And everybody, I'm glad that you shared your opinion in the comments. I will see you guys next week, Monday morning, bright and early. Bye, guys. Have a